Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to bring to you
Season 1, Episode 15, Rock the Dead.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 15 of Season 1 of the Juggalo Rewind. I didn't think we were going to get to this point. Maybe we tricked you last week, but, you know,
We're
as
not
they
sorry
say...
if we tricked you.
I was going to say, you know who we are, but you don't know why we're here.
That's a good one.
You may have thought that we were just going to do the original Mostasteless, but guess what? You can't just do the original Mostasteless without going forward and doing the island version, right? I mean, that'd be ridiculous. So
I mean, we're going forward in this chronological, but it's still a rewind, so I think it fits.
It definitely fits. We talked about the reissue numerous times, so why wouldn't we just keep on plugging away?
Right.
And
there's no way we could do a wrap-up and ignore the two different versions of this.
No, we've been talking the whole season about the different faces of the CD, so why not just keep it going? We're having fun. We don't want to stop here on Season 1, so here it is, Episode 15, Rock the Dead. My name is Peter, and you've heard there, Chris is remote live from the compound.
Yep. Down in the bowels.
Down in the spooky Bennigans of the back of his mind.
We had to take a lot of... a couple weeks in a row here. A lot of sickness was running through the house, but I think we're good to go after this. I think we'll be back on track.
Oh, yeah, you never know. I mean, I think...
You never know. You might get sick again.
Yeah, it's come and go. You never know what goes on.
This is what happens when you have two infants and a I guess he's technically still a toddler. No, he's not. What would you call him? Anyways, a freshly in school child.
Yes, and germs aplenty, and
yeah.
It's not all you. Like, I mean, when we have guests, we got to do it like this, or just when we don't want to face the elements when the winter is coming. It's gonna be like, let's just do that from each other's home. So it's fine. It sounds good. Everyone knows what we're talking about. It's the rewind, whether we're in person or not. Social medias, you're all following us already, but if you aren't, it's at Juggalo RWD. That's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, I believe. You can search on Juggalo Rewind, and the old TikTok. You can email us, juggalorwd@gmail.com. We love getting emails. We also love getting phone calls at 810-666-1570. Gotten a couple good voicemails that I think we're going to play at the end of the season, answer a couple questions, and we'll see how those go.
Feel free to prank us, too, like $85 an hour. They would also answer and give you a, hello?
Who's this? Oh, those are good. Or you can leave us messages. I think that's on Freak Show. That's not on this CD, right? Where they play the messages at the end about the girls' buttholes. And
I mean, feel free. If you want to divulge what you've been doing over the weekend, feel free to let it loose.
Yeah, if you listen to this episode when it drops, which I believe is on Thanksgiving, correct?
That's right.
If maybe the next day you're listening, we were watching Michigan, Ohio State, and
oh god,
you just want to razz us or see if Chris is still alive, feel free to drop us a line. So
this is gonna be the longest week ever.
But if you're listening to this in the future, hopefully you've gone back and listened to all episodes. Doesn't matter if you're an old school Juggalo or, you just graduated from Camp Zool. You'll still find something that you can enjoy here on the Juggalo Rewind.
Tag us in your macaroni art from Camp Zool.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures. I've seen some videos. I haven't seen enough arts and crafts. Please show us your arts and crafts, and maybe next year we'll be at Camp Zool right there with you. And we didn't mention, if you're on Spotify, Apple, no matter where you're listening to us, drop a review, subscribe, or like, or do anything to make sure that you get these episodes early and often, right when they come in.
And don't forget, we got a pinned tweet. You retweet that And we have an Instagram post. You tag a friend and give us a review on Apple. 3 chances to win the Mostasteless vinyl. So you got a few more episodes to get that in.
That's true. We wanted to give more people a chance to win. That's the real reason why we extended the season.
Right.
We
want to get more reviews.
We always need more reviews. It changes the algorithm. I don't know if we have much else to banter about, so you want to just jump right into this episode? We got a lot ahead of us, I believe.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, we are talking Rock the Dead. Again, this is episode 15, but we're going a little off track here because this is the 4th track on the reissue. They just wanted to cram it in there right off the bat, right after, off top of my head, right after Secondhand Smoke and Die Motherfucker Die, right?
Yeah,
so,
they wanted to keep the gauntlet running, you know?
Yeah, bangers coming when you're turning on that CD. Producer of this track, Mike E. Clark. So this is going to start a trend here in the next couple episodes of all of these reissue new tracks are all Mike Clark branded. And we'll get into it, but they all have a hint of the new sound of Twiztid. Would you agree?
Oh, most definitely. And we spent a lot of time praising Scott Sumner. So it's good to let everyone know that we won't just be Scott Sumner is not the only MVP in our eyes, because Mike Clark brings some bangers here too. Yeah,
we'll get into that here in a minute, but he definitely brought the heat on this one. Track time, 4 minutes, 52 seconds. I think that's a little, what do you call it, misleading, because there is a lot of empty space here, right? I mean, there's a lot of, what do you call it, hook at the end.
Yeah, that's kind of been a trend on a lot of this, is the hook trails out for you're hitting skip when you're in your car because you're like, how many times do I want to hear this hook roll out in the end,
Yeah, it's nice, it's hot, but it's like a little too much at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little over 4 minutes is the average on just about every song on here, and a lot of it is that, letting that hook ride out. Yeah,
it's a lot of nonsense, but that's music these days. Or those days, whichever you prefer. I don't think we have to talk about this anymore in these episodes going forward, but just for the sake of bridging the gap of old to new, obviously these are not on the demo, not on the House of Horrors tour. So from here on out, I say we just cut that from the old, what we're talking about. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. That was
in the past. Yeah. How do we want to do this? Let's talk about the history, the little bit of the history of the song before it got to the album, and then we'll get right into lyrics and such. Am I to understand that you first heard this on Fat or Whack, correct, Chris?
Yeah, definitely. Fat or Whack is my first, at least memory, because as we did this season, I realized, I've gotten Forgotten Freshness too before I got Fat or Whack, so obviously I heard these guys. So, but then, in my mind, the thing I remember that it stuck with me who Twiztid was Fat or Whack, and hearing those 3 singles on there, blowing me away. Right.
We talked about it before, but just to reiterate, and I don't know the exact dates on these, Fat or Whack is essentially the Jekyll Brothers sampler CD. And they threw on Twiztid, obviously, because the reissue of Mostasteless is about to come out. So they put on some of the old, some of the new. When I say old and new, I mean original and this one from the reissue. And it went nationwide because they knew Island was picking this up. So I think a lot of people, this was the first thing, just like you, give or take a little bit, that it was the first thing they heard from Twiztid. And it's not a bad one to start with. That beat definitely catches you. And if you're an ICP fan and you hear this, I think you understand that, they're not just throwing something random at you. It's definitely something in their universe and you're going to like it.
And to me, they all came so much harder. Like when you heard those Twiztid beats for whatever reason, I mean, I guess Malenko kind of came, heavy beats. Well, but yeah, I don't know. Those 3 Twiztid beats, like, it felt like it was a whole nother level of headbutt a wall.
And we can do all the other versions later, and we can just jump into the song. But now that you're talking about the beat, like, I wonder how Mike Clark operates. Like, did he does he have songs like this just sitting and he grabs them and tweaks them and gives them to who he wants? Or does he hear a song, like hear lyrics, kind of mold it around Twiztid in particular? Like, could you imagine ICP rapping on this? You know, is it too fast for them, or is it just got a different element that ICP never had? And I wonder if Mike Clark was happy to be like, man, he has a canvas, but he has to tailor it to their liking and their strong suits. I wonder if he saw a Twist and he's like, man, I can double things up and, you know, be a little more hip hop. Like, I'd just be curious if he was happy to have a different set of people to play for.
I'm sure. We'd have to go through his discography and see like what else he was producing at that time, and like, yeah, how much, you know, other different non-Juggalo world music he had at the time.
Yeah, a little variety. This definitely would have brought all the worlds together, I would think.
Yeah, this still seems early on where he was like, not exclusively, but like 90% Juggalo music, where I feel like later on maybe he got a little bit more out there.
Right. I don't know. I can't imagine ICP rapping over this, but maybe they would be, and it would be a totally different song. You would never know, but
we'll get to it later. We kind of get a little something.
We do. We got a lot of little something. Okay. Let's just jump into the song. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Rock the Dead starts off, we should have mentioned this in a much earlier episode. Rock the Dead starts with a little sample that you may or may not even recognize, because I sure didn't remember it, nor do I know where the hell it's from. It is.
As I said, it was added to my Letterbox watch list once we figured out what the hell this was.
So you'll help us out later on.
Yeah, try to watch it before the wrap up.
It is the quote. What does it say? Why don't you? It's like I assume a mother saying, "Why don't you go play with your friends?" And the kid, again, I'm assuming, says, "They're all dead."
Why don't you go play with your friends?
They're all dead.
I was dying to figure this out because we saw it in our notes that it's from a movie called The Reflecting Skin. It's like a B-level horror, black comedy, weird movie.
British-Canadian dramatic horror film that weaves elements of vampirism, surrealism, black comedy, symbolism, or religious zealotry throughout its narrative about the perceptions and fantasies of an impressionable young boy in 1950s America.
So weird. So, like, maybe people know this, but I sure have never heard of this movie.
And the voice who says, "Why don't you go play with your friends?" that is Viggo Mortensen who's saying it.
Oh, that's crazy. Why do I always think it's a woman? Well, what do I know? Because I haven't heard it in 20 years. I just heard it 10 minutes ago. Also of note, we've talked in past episodes, that little intro was not on this track. It was on, if you're going through the CD, it's actually on the previous track. And then this, track number 4 kicks right into Rock the Dead. So
yeah, so depending on which version you're listening to, if you listen to the reissue, Die Motherfucker Die will have that at the end.
Correct. So be on the lookout for that, or go back in your archives and your CDs, as we like to call them, and give that a listen. Who was telling us that they always just listen to stuff on tape, so it was all straight through, and they didn't realize that had to be Kelly, right?
That was K Fresh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's true, because at this time and before, I had a cassette player in my car, so I would just straight up, I'm probably a mark. I think I bought both. But like you said,
bizarre when they told you had to, buy a copy and send in a receipt to someone.
Yeah.
So at the Shaggy show. So then I was like, well, I'll get the cassettes because I already have the CDs.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
And I always would dub tapes and make a best of, but I feel like I had all the original tapes sitting in my car too, and this was right on the border of me stopping doing that. But yeah, that's another reason why you don't realize if something's on that track or the track before. But those are the old days, kids, when we had tapes and CDs. Now you have Spotify's and Apple Music's. So we had that, and then we jump. Whoa, my lyric book's falling all over the place. We jump right into the hook. As we've said before, not as weird as we thought it was, because it happens all the time. And
it feels like a common theme on Mostasteless, for sure. Yeah,
I don't know what the hell we were thinking. We were not fully prepared for that one. Rock the Dead, as we said, fire beat, right? We can't we can't deny that. Jumps right into the hook, which it's one of those hooks that I don't know if I really ever knew the words. It was just there, but looking at it, now it makes sense, but...
This part of the hook I definitely knew. I would sing this long. Oh, yeah. This is, just from this hook alone, it's a staple on Halloween party mixes, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Waking up, moons in the sky, bring the wicked shit, and the dead will arise. Now... this is going to go in a million different directions just because that's what we do. Jamie Madrox starts it off with his verse. What are you thinking here? Like, I know we toe the line of it's just words for words sake, or is he telling a story? But what do you pull from what Madrox is trying to say here? Just in general.
There's definitely not a story to me. I think he's just spitting some hot fire.
You're like, oh, that's it. That's all good. It's. I mean, I try to look a little deeper.
It looks like he's digging up a body here.
Like, I don't know. I'm. What did I write down here? I don't know why I even wrote that down. I don't even think I can repeat that. It's so stupid. The idea of the whole song, I think, is just like the zombie / dead body deal, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah. Why do I feel like... What did you say, that he's digging up a dead body? That's because that's kind of half-assed where I was going. I wrote something about the undead realm. Like, it's almost like he's going... Where did I pick that up at? It's like he's... The Space and Beyond may have thrown me off, because in future albums, when Blaze talks about being from outer space,
I love that stuff.
Always pops me. I'm like, well, he's not from outer space. Why would you say that? But
he goes into, like you said, another realm, walking through my conscience, bringing to the white lights of the depths of hell.
Yeah, I feel like he's like going into that other world where you could argue, there's like the spirits or the souls of everyone, and he's either pulling them back or just talking to them. Like, I don't know if it's a physical digging up dead bodies, but I feel it's very like spiritual, going into another dimension kind of thing.
I have a little bit of both, because he steals the headstone, very Halloween-esque, and then later in the verse he talks about peeling back the rind, examine the fruit, rotten to the core, buried in their best suits. Like, that's...
Yeah, maggots crawling in their face.
Yeah, it feels like it's physical, but I mean, maybe he's on the astral plane and the body is there rotting.
I would think, if you saw, now we're getting real deep. If you interact with someone who has died in the spirit world, is it like, what do they look like? Do they look like you remember them, or do you see them as a zombie? That's...
Well, this came out around the time Sixth Sense came out, and wasn't he seeing all the ghosts like all fucking mutilated and weird in the Sixth Sense?
Oh wow! Spoiler alert for everyone who hasn't seen the Sixth Sense.
Sorry, guys. You didn't see a movie from 22 years ago. I apologize.
Hey, sometimes I still haven't seen movies that have certain endings.
I didn't give away the punchline or plot, right? I guess I did.
You're like, I didn't say that he saw dead people. I didn't say that Bruce Willis was really dead the whole time. What?
See, I didn't give that part away. God damn.
You might as well have. And look what you made me do. You made me do this, you son of a bitch. Well, this is your fault.
If anyone out there has seen The Reflecting Skin, feel free to spoil it for me before I watch it.
That email address is juggalorwd@gmail.com for anyone who wants to berate Chris for ruining The Sixth Sense for them. But yeah, I like his verse. It's classic Jamie Madrox, right? Good wordplay. It paints a picture for sure. We should probably say that all the time. Instead of saying, it doesn't really tell a story, it's words for words sake, he does paint a picture.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, we're never knocking that. It's definitely...
you listen to Bob Dylan, he's amazing writer and all that. Sometimes you don't know what the hell he's talking about. So look at Madrox is just the Bob Dylan of the Juggalo world here. Getting some abstract stuff. You can visualize it, but you don't know exactly what it is.
Space and beyond, mind of an idiot.
So that's the thing. I never knew that's what he said at the second part there.
The mind of an idiot is real. It's again one of those. I think I knew what it was, but I can never put into words.
Yeah, I never knew what. I don't know what I even said when I sang along.
I don't even know if that's right, to be honest. Like, let's make that abundantly clear. I think everything I've seen online says Space and Beyond, Mind of an Idiot, but I'm not hanging my hat on that being 100% accurate. So.
Yeah, I always thought of something like I'm up in your yard or something like that. Which I guess makes Space and Beyond, I'm up in your yard, I'm stealing your headstone from your grave plot. He's up in like the graveyard. Space and Beyond, up in a graveyard, I stole your headstone from your grave plot. See, that makes more sense than just calling himself an idiot.
Yeah, anyone who wants to chime in on that and let us know what you think he says, please feel free.
Yeah, I say he says, I'm up in the yard.
I should probably do a little research and maybe plug in some live versions here, because I definitely play this live. So we'll see if we can figure that out. Fuck it. Let's just toss it in right here. Well, I know we're going to talk about it later, but since I already brought it up, this song live is like A+, correct? Can you agree with that?
Yeah, this is like their chicken hunting. It has to be played, right?
Yeah, it's whether it's in your top of all time, like where it falls on that, this should always be on their live set, I would say.
Yeah,
so
100%.
It's just the energy, even that the hook brings. Even if you don't know any of the words to the fucking song. Yeah. Well, speaking of not, are we done with Madrox? Are you okay with moving on?
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of not knowing the words to anything, even if you don't know the words to the lyrics, you know that live it's gonna get hyped for the hook. But talk about not knowing what the words are to the hook. I had no idea. So they repeat the first part, right? Wake up, moons in the sky. But then when the beat drops, got me a mic and the PA cranked to 10. And all we want to do is rock the dead.
Which makes total sense reading it. And I could hear it, but I never knew with that.
No.
I always heard, I got my mic, I think. And then after that, I'm like, what's he say in the second half?
Yeah. Again, if you out there think he says something else, please let us know. But fuck, no clue.
This one feels correct, yeah. Where the first one, I think, is up in the air.
Well, we'll just have to go with it because that's what Genius tells us, right?
Well, the only thing that's clear is Rock the Dead.
That is very clear. Then we get into Monoxide's verse.
Screaming like, I love that part.
Definitely comes out strong. Same thing. Like, I feel like his is a little more physical than where I thought Madrox was more spiritual. This is straight up like, digging a hole and talking about blood and actually going to kill someone, which is crazy. Like,
he just wants to rock out with more people. So he's like, I got to kill a few more to get for the party.
The song does go towards that. Like, I think I had that written down at the end. It goes from, hey, there's a lot of dead people like in the world that we could bring into this world to, oh, Monoxide's just going to go start killing them. And then at the end, they're like literally trying to bring more and more people into their realm. So
Madrox's like, that line's sweet and all, but we're talking about like killing and piling up a bunch of bodies. This was just about like partying with a bunch of dead bodies.
They're like, what the hell did we get ourselves into? It's psychopathic. But again, like, let's go back. That's kind of a psychopathic gimmick, right? Like they may have talked about horror stuff in House of Crazies, but not literally talking about dead bodies.
Not on this level. Yeah, this is definitely a super psychopathic sounding track. And
they're filling in very well into the gimmick.
No, for sure.
We were talking about live parts. Definitely the Monoxide part where it says, I got the whole world screaming out, you ain't shit. That's very interactive on a live set. So
that's we'll get to it later. Everlasting moment.
Oh yeah, that's got to be one of them, right? Especially live.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, the physical part, I don't know why you hide your face because I'm coming for your neck. It's like, Jesus Christ. He's going for the physical violence, which is not uncommon on this CD, right?
He comes hard on this one, too. Like, Madrox always. It's be rare to have a Madrox verse that doesn't, come with the heat, but Monoxide right behind him on this one. This one, he's going toe-to-toe with him.
Yeah, I feel like they knew... Not that they didn't try on the original Mostasteless, but they knew that this was like a much bigger opportunity, and they had to go 110%.
Yeah, as we discussed before, obvious, $85 an hour is a throwaway goofy track, and we'll get to another goofy track in the future here.
Only one.
But this one for sure, you could tell it wasn't like they're like throwing lyrics together quick in the studio. Like they're like, all right, let's make this badass song with this one.
And they theoretically had some time, right? I mean,
yeah, you imagine.
Well, we talk about this, but I'm actually going to go look because you think we're experts on this, but we're really not. We just go through our stuff here. So this CD, the reissue, came out in June of '99. They've been on Psychopathic, let's call it from January of '98. So they had a year and change to get this rocking and rolling. So,
right.
You tour a little bit, you take off, you did other stuff in that time because, man, if this came out in June of '99, I guess depending on how quickly you had to record it, like you had Riders, you had Echo Side, you had other stuff, but
you had to be locked in straitjackets in a cell while ICP signs autographs.
Yeah, they're just sitting there waiting for the next kid, and they're like, man, what are we going to do with that Rock the Dead song? Have you thought of a hook yet?
Maybe that's where they wrote it. I mean, they didn't write it because they couldn't use their hands, but it's funny because I was I was reading an old The Fago Lovers interview. It might have been the one with the green hat story that we dug up, and he was asking him, I think, about the straitjacket first thing, and Madrox was like, oh yeah, it was cool and all. He goes, we got really bored though at times because no one knew us that well. We weren't signing autographs, so some people just thought we were like an act, like the 8-Boy. They didn't realize we were an actual act on the on the label. So he's like, yeah, we kind of like got real bored just sitting in there in straitjackets, not moving around.
He's like, does Space and Beyond sound good, or should we stop that?
Or do I have a mind of an idiot?
They're just rapping back and forth, and it's like, God damn it, Monoxide, we're not actually killing people. Fucking stop with that shit.
And that's why, so we get back to the Monoxide's line, that's where he got the line, release my straps of my jacket and let me go, because he legit was like, fuck, I'm locked up in this.
Yeah, I mean, how many... I'm sure we could look that up, but they had to go on that tour for at least a couple months, right? Like 1 or 2 months?
Yeah, I don't know how. That felt like a full-size in-store, right? Because they had a flyer with all the dates, didn't they?
Yeah, I just don't have it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's as much of a tour and his work as a real music tour, right?
I imagine. I mean,
you still got to go city to city. I don't know if it went, like, nationwide, but... you do your work, you get to the next town, you got to do it again, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know. I know I have local flyers for that, but I'm sure there's got to be one for the whole tour. Well, yeah, we'll take a look for that. I'll look in the old, whatchamacallit, the Juggalo book. Yeah, side note, I've been bringing out all of my old Juggalo stuff, whether it's CDs, tapes, to display, because for Christmas, was it for Christmas? I don't remember what it was for. Maybe it was for my birthday. My wife built me like a little stand made of like Fago stands, and so that has shelves on it, so I think I'm going to put all my Juggalo nonsense on there.
There you go. Perfect time for it now.
Yeah. And I think the bottom, since it's a little wobbly, it'll be all my flyer books, so that'll like weigh it down. So I'll have that out. We'll see what's going on here. A whole pile of dead bodies. I'm on top. Me and my man rocking the dead. Literally, he's like standing on a pile of dead bodies and playing a concert. That's not what we're talking about, Monoxide.
It's a nice visual, though.
Yeah.
Feels like something that'd be in the old comic books back in the day.
I was going to say, I don't have it in front of me, but isn't that literally what the reissue kind of cover looks like?
I thought the reissue cover, they're like fighting off like demons and zombies, but they are like in the spirit world, it looks like, or like
they're standing like on a planet. They're not standing like on a pile. I don't know why I think they're standing on a pile of bodies, like it's a zombie movie. But yeah, may be like
I have it right here in the other room. I could go grab it, but
yeah, no, it's okay. I like imagining what I think it looks like. Then we go into the hook again, which is the same, but it's twice as long, right? Like they do it. They do it again, but they double up on the part that we didn't understand.
You got to get to almost 5 minutes somehow, I guess, for whatever reason.
They love those 5-minute tracks. After that, another Jamie Madrox verse, but it's all talking, which is weird because, again, I don't like time these out. I don't say like, okay, they each had, 32 bars, hook, 32 bars, hook. Like, I'm not timing it like that, but it is weird that the next part of the song is now a short Jamie talking verse, a short Monoxide verse, and another short Jamie verse. Like, it's just, I guess it beats being super formulaic and, predictable. Mm-hmm. So you got to throw everyone for a loop and not be totally boring. So I'm okay with it. It's just, it's very weird that Jamie just talks on this part.
A little intermission between both halves of the song.
Yeah. And do I gather that you like this part?
It cracks me up. I'm just like the whole nother posse. Now they did.
Think about it, 100 years from now, it was all different people living on the planet. Now they're dead. 200 years ago was a whole nother posse. Now they dead. The dead probably outnumber the living 10,000 to 1. 100 years from now, we'll be dead. So fuck that. I'ma run with the mother. Got my vision on you point blank.
Like such, his little diatribe makes me laugh. That's the word, right?
Diatribe, I think.
Diatribe.
I don't know. You've said it a couple times this season. We just let it go. But no, I know what you're saying.
It gets you hype at the end, though. So fuck that. I'm gonna run with the motherfucking dead, and then Monoxide dives right into it. So it does its job to get you, brings you down a little bit because the hook's so live, So maybe it helps on that end.
Do they do that?
And kicks you back in.
Man, that's something else I got to look at now. I know there's a ton of versions of this live on YouTube. Now I'm going to go down the rabbit hole of that. But when they do this, does he say that? Or I wonder, do they skip right to Monoxide? Or is it one of those songs that they only do like half the song? You know what I mean? No,
I think they do the full thing. But yeah, they might skip that part. I don't remember that.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Seems like something he would just say and spout off and not just have in the background, but that could give them a little break too, just to have it, playing in the back and then they come back.
No, I feel like if they did it, he actually was out there saying it.
Would say it. Well, like you said, it's a little bit of a breakdown and then it goes right back into Monoxide's verse. Again, now we're just going straight up. Like, now you're killing people. Strange look because I'm in all black and I'll be rocking with an axe. Like, literally just cemetery walks and grave digging, sacrifice another victim. Yeah, he's just killing people.
And then thinking about killing himself also to end it off.
Yeah. Well, if he wants to be with the dead, then he's got to be part of them, right?
Because, so I guess a spoiler alert, because according to Madrox coming up, he is in fact dead.
Yeah, that's true. That's all right. Let's just skip to that because Monoxide's out there killing people and
screaming like a banshee in the woods.
Yeah, trying to get the sick thoughts out of his head. So then, I want your thought on this. Jamie Madrox, some of my best friends are dead. If you include Monoxide, Violent J, Shaggy, and Evil Ed. Like,
that's what I always thought he said.
I think he does. He doesn't say Evil Dead, right? He definitely says Ed.
There's a 95 movie called Evil Ed. That's a horror comedy, so we might be referring to that.
Are you going to put that on your list of things to watch, or have you already seen that
actually, yes, because the picture looks fucking hilarious. So maybe that's what...
Does that have to wait until Halloween spooky season, or can you can slide Halloween those on?
So, yeah. So spooky season is reserved for classics. You have to watch all the Halloweens. You watch maybe some of the Jason. Jason Lives and Killer Clowns is always in my rotation. Evil Dead's House of Thousand Corpse, Trick or Treat.
Just want to make sure that it's like a square and a rectangle. Like spooky season is specified for the spookiness, but it's not like it is only contained to that. It can spill
you watch
over.
horror year round, but you definitely save all the Halloweens for October. Yeah, I can't watch Halloweens in like August.
I think this year we need to start doing it in April. We'll have a
halfway to Halloween.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. So we'll keep everyone in tune with that. Fuck it if you're missing some limbs or patches of hair. Nod your bald head and throw your nubs in the air. So fucking funny.
This I even has this is Madrox's verse here is very psychopathic. Like this gives me vibes of I was gonna say Zombie Slide. No, the one on Riddlebox.
Not Cemetery Girl. Dead Body Man?
No, Move to the Left and Slide.
Oh,
hey yo, I heard that you died.
Headless Boogie?
Yeah, this is very Headless Boogie to me. Like, it's harder. It's more like the song is not serious, but more like heavy, not goofy like that. But Madrox, when you just read his lyrics, he is a very just happy partying with the dead guys here. So it gives me those vibes.
Yeah, Monoxide's out there killing people, fucking slitting their throat, and Jamie's just like, if you're missing an arm, just swing your nub. But it's kind of sweet.
It's kind of like they're telling two stories, though. I never even think of it until we started digging in here that Monoxide's out there killing, murdering, and Madrox's like, well, sorry for your luck, my buddy killed you, but come on into the party. We got Monoxide here after killing. We got Jay and Shaggy and Old Evil Ed's hanging around too. So.
That's okay. Old Evil Ed. You need to, I'm sure you'll already be posting the cover of that tape. Now you got my curious.
Oh, yeah, it looks fantastic.
And then they end with the hook, taking it out again. Am I, this goes back into my old gimmick that you roll your eyes at. Isn't there a part, or is it only on one of them, does Jay do part of the hook where he yells "Rock the Dead"?
I think that is him, right? And like
which one is that?
It's like halfway through where he just like someone screams "Rock the Dead" and then like kicks back into it. Yeah,
it's not the last one. It's somewhere in the. I feel like it ends someone's verse, but now off top of my looking at this, I can't figure out where it is.
No, I think it's like halfway through as it rides out, and then like kind of the hook kind of slows down to close out,
So I just want to. This will come into play later, but there's not an overabundance of ICP on this song at all. But just as a note that we think that Jay is on this track. We agree with that, right?
I think that's him, yelling it.
Okay. So let's just we'll pocket that, as they say.
Yes.
We'll
running tally here.
Reoccurring theme on the next 5 songs that I will talk about in a couple weeks. But yeah, that's pretty much Rock the Dead. It's a lot of hook, but when you dive into the lyrics, especially the ones that you never knew what they said, there's a lot going on there. Before we get into, fuck it, we'll do it this way. You mentioned it, and we kind of touched on it already. The everlasting Juggalo lines and history. I think the hook itself, just how live it is in person, is epic. Is Juggalo classic, if you will.
Right.
And then that Monoxide line where everyone yells back, "You ain't shit." That's and that may not be like you're waiting in line, or that's not like a shirt or a poster kind of deal, but I think it's definitely something, whether this is your favorite song or not, if you know it, that's an interactive part of the show.
No, it's for sure, as we say, throw it in the Juggalo canon. That's like, everyone knows that and everyone yells that. Yeah. You're waiting for that line. Yeah, you're not saying it to each other, yelling it, or like making chants of it, but yeah, that's all. It's a part of the live experience. Sure,
I agree. So let's jump into the other versions, and there's a lot of them here, so we're going to try to blow through them all, but they're all important in their own way. There was a CD single of this song that came out, and you can only assume it was right around the time of the CD debuting. So this came out in June of 99, we said, right? So I'm not sure if it came out before or after the CD debuted, but, and when I say CD, I mean the album. I apologize. now my own verbiage is throwing me off. But it was definitely promoting Rock the Dead. It had 2 versions on it. It had the album version and it had a clean version, which doing this research, I would, for this season, which, how long have we been researching this? 18 months, 2 years? Like, we've had this on the back burner for a really long time. I cannot find that clean version of this song. It's, please, if someone has it, send it to us, send us a link, but I cannot find it.
Serial killers from the west and the east know the dead from here to Great Street. And if you're missing some limbs and patches of hair, not your bald head and throw your nubs in the air. I wanna see zombies jump and scream loud, at least every live.
I have it on the reissue that came out in 2016. So I need to plug the turntable into the laptop somehow and give it to you.
Oh, because I didn't realize that was on there. The clean version's on there?
Yeah, the 7-inch, one side is the radio edit, one side is the regular version.
Oh, that's crazy. That makes it even weirder that it came out again and that I still can't find a version of it.
Maybe it's not like ripped online. Yeah,
maybe I need to Google like that 45 instead of just Googling radio edit. So we haven't really touched on a lot of this, but I think I want to get into it at the very, very end of the season. That single is really hard to find.
The CD version?
Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. You're right. The CD version of Rock the Dead is, I'm not saying it's like the hardest thing to find, and it's not like quote unquote grail piece, but it is very sought after and hard to find. So I know people have it, but it's hard for them to come off of it. So if you have it, you are an elite Juggalo collector.
Even I'm just looking on Discogs right now, and there's only 12 people who list that have it, and it's never been sold on here. Which I know Discogs mainly vinyl, and 45s, but there's CDs on there still, and you think you would see it pop up on there.
Yeah, no, it's tough, and that was even back in the day. That was like $100 plus item. So now I could only assume it's more than that.
Man, I feel like I've seen it at Rock of Ages back in the day. Like looking at this one, I'm like, I don't know what.
I don't want to say there's no way, but I don't think so. If you did, you missed out.
Or are we assuming this was like one given just to radio stations at the time?
That's also possible. Here's another possibility. Spoiler alert. Sorry for anyone who thinks Rock of Ages is above board on everything they do. This is definitely the era where they are just bootlegging shit. And it's like...
Yeah, true.
It's not just... This is my opinion, not Chris's, so that he doesn't get in trouble. But they... I'm not just talking stickers and t-shirts and bullshit. I mean, like, they would openly sell CDs that you think are rare, and they are not. They are straight up like CDRs, photocopied covers, and if they had this...
Because this one actually was a CDR, right? Like
that's correct.
CD it is a CDR.
Right, the real ones did have the blue bottom. I don't know what the actual CD looked like. If it was like a just kind of plain ass font on it, like anyone could do. But I know they have gotten better about it, but Rock of Ages definitely has a stigma about them, especially in this era of selling some bootleg shit. Because, I mean, I don't want to say because, but there's just such an influx of people who wanted stuff that I feel they probably thought they were doing everyone a service by giving them what they wanted.
They're just like, hey, we'll just make some money on this shit.
Shit. I didn't say that. I was trying to be nice. You're just like, they said, fuck these kids. But,
come on now.
Anyways, we love Rock of Ages. So yeah, that CD, very hard to find. If you have it, burn us the radio edit, please. I'm dying to know if they just bleep stuff out or if they totally change the words, because I love radio edits where they change the words completely.
And Psychopathic had a lot of funny ones.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to. This was something we'll revisit on the wrap up, because I'll give the 45 a listen and take some notes on what's different.
Yeah. Just looking back at the lyrics right now, because we're so. I don't even recognize swearing just because it's part of my normal talk. But looking through, it looks like Madrox throws throw your fucking arms up and rock the dead at the end of his.
I hope it's switched to throw your nubby arms up and rock the dead.
Yeah.
The guy with.
Please do something like that. You ain't shit, obviously, would be one.
You ain't it, I bet.
But yeah, quick glance, I don't see any other swears. All the dead motherfuckers from here to Green Street. Kill every live motherfucker in the crowd. So yeah, all of Madrox's has a lot of swearing, but
we didn't. That's something we didn't talk on going through the lyrics. Green Street. If you look at Green Street, Detroit, that's in Southwest. Nice ass run of taqueras around there. So I don't know if maybe they're getting themselves some nice ass barbecue chicken or pastor tacos out there. But when I looked it up, that's where I wound up on the map, and then I'm just looking up. So I think we're gonna have to hit up Los Galos after we're done here because shit looks real good.
You sure he wasn't talking about Greens Street? Because it's Greens is right up the road from the Lotus Pod?
Could have been that too.
He's cruising Tenant Orchard Lake, trying to get...
All we do when we hear a street is figure out what food is around that area.
Man, I was somewhere the other day, and it's just like taco trucks, and I'm like, what is going on here? I almost took a picture of it and texted you and Cousin Aaron, like, have you been here? Do you know where this is? So I should have stopped.
Pull up Green Street, Detroit on Google Maps, and just every little fork and a knife, click on it and just scroll through the photos. All those tacos. There's like an abundance of just fire taco places around there.
Yeah, we'll have to do the in between seasons. We'll do like if we take a little break, we'll just drop little bonus episodes. One of them will be us going.
Oh God! Save that for that's a YouTube exclusive videos. Let's get
just
put that. I'm putting that in a spreadsheet just so we don't forget because God, that's great.
Yeah. Oh man, it'll be like. Oh man, now I need to see like all the TV show names so that we can mess around with them, like Juggalos.
Yeah, sorry, we're brainstorming a new show for you on this episode, but. Just you could scrap that. We'll hide that from everyone.
Yeah, no one steal that. If I feel the need to bleep that out, so no one hears it.
Cut that out. Just get to the point where I'm talking about sweet taqueras and cut it all out.
Oh man. Oh, let's see what's next. It takes a quite little hiatus here for Rock the Dead, but it ends up on the Big Money Hustlers soundtrack, which, correct me if I'm mistaken, is the only way you can find this streaming online right now because the what do you call it? Well,
through Spotify. I don't know if Apple or Amazon have any of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm when I say streaming, I assume Spotify. So you are correct. The only way I can find this on Spotify is streaming through the Big Money Hustlers soundtrack. 2016, as Chris alluded to, pronouns pal, Magic Ninja released this on a 45, and off the top of my head, I don't know, was that like a part of a, what do you call it, like a mystery box, or did they just straight up sell it, or I don't know how it was released.
I'm pretty sure it was just sold through like twistedshop.com.
And like they did a bunch of those, and I can only imagine that's probably limited to like 500 or 1,000, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look on if it's numbered.
Again, we're speculating because we did 90% of the research and not the full 100%. You think that was a website deal, or do you think it was a like Black Friday or a record store day deal?
This is before they dove into because I mean at this point I was hitting Black Fridays and record store days, so this was them just doing it on the side because they weren't diving into that yet. I don't believe. Gotcha.
I agree. I think I agree with that. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So then you also, I think this is dumb. I'm sorry I didn't put these in order. Going backwards, Mike Clark used this song and this beat on his Mike Clark Volume 1. What's the name of those CDs?
I was going to say Mutilation Mix.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't even, I just call it the Mike Clark Volume 1. That is called the Murder Mix Volume 1, where it's Rock the Dead Body Man, which
if you're not if you're not up on these compilations, get on them right now.
Oh my God.
I'm just a dead body man. We got bodies, dead bodies. We got fat ones, skinny ones, males, females, hermaphrodites. We got somebodies, we got nobodies. Bodies, bodies, bodies. Dead bodies in the back of my van.
I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one, but I distinctly remember us driving and listening to this CD for the first time, and just every song that came on, we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're right. Are these streaming?
Yeah, they're on Spotify.
They are? Yeah, if you are not familiar with the Mike Clark murder mix, please stop listening to us right now. We're not going to talk about anything in the next 10 minutes that's worth your while. Just pause, go find Mike Clark's Murder Mix Volume 1 and thoroughly enjoy what's going on that CD. This song in particular, real sweet. Rock
sure.
the Dead Body Man. And then you fast forward to a couple years ago at Astronomicon. We've talked about it in the past, but this song, Rock the Dead, was part of their 80s remix version, which I gotta say, of all the ones on there, this is probably my least favorite. Did you get a chance to listen to it? Do you recall?
I did way back when we started this season, so I can't remember, but which artist did they use on theirs? On this one?
This song is mixed with I Can't Go For That, No Can Do by Hall & Oates.
But the only one that's clear is feeling like, I can't even take it no more. Release the straps on my jacket and let me go. Ill medication, got my whole body shaking. Thinking escaping, but they gon' keep on chasing them.
Again, that CD is great, but this is like the least of the tracks in my opinion.
Yeah.
I enjoy a good 80s remix, and I like what they were doing there, but this one in particular just doesn't tickle
fit
my
the other
fancy
ones as much.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the best. But
I'm still down with it. Like, I'd rather have them doing these 80s mixes, even if it doesn't fully hit like the other ones.
Yeah.
I want more
God.
of this stuff.
I just punched the microphone. I'd rather a bunch of singles and doubles with home runs mixed in than just not trying at all. So
Right.
Keep doing these. I wish they did these every year at Astronomicon. Give me just a straight 80s or 90s or
do a different decade each year.
Oh man, now we're talking. Imagine Blaze doing this over like 90s beats.
Oh man, he'd have to do 89
or like Gangster. But then we're just now he's just like Cell Block. Well, now for saying that, just give me a Cell Block CD if that's really where we're going with this. But that's a whole nother season, whole nother issue. And I think that's all of the places that this song has ended up, which is quite a lot. I don't want to say all. I mean, it's been on a good 8 different albums. So
yeah, I didn't realize there was that many when you actually sit down and look at it.
Yeah. I also have a note, and this is dumb because I'm just going to contradict myself here at the end. Because I think people have thought that this was their first music video, but it's not. You know, their first video was We Don't Die. Unless I'm totally mistaken, I don't know why I wrote that down. So I must have seen it somewhere, and I definitely put a question mark next to it, knowing that it's not right. But like maybe there was some kind of interview or something where they said they were going to do it, and then, you know, how things happen, and just either they didn't or it didn't see the light of day. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things that floats out there, but unless I'm mistaken, it never came to be.
There's that commercial it's on the beginning of like Stranglemania 2. It was on the beginning of one of the videos back in the day, and it was plugging the Mostasteless, and they started playing beginning of Rock the Dead, and it was like just like this computer generated like cube that floated around with pictures of them on. Do you remember that?
Kinda.
So I'm like, maybe that was like people thinking that's the video, or maybe there was like just a version of that floating around with the full song, but that's the only thing I would think of.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's worth us going back and looking, digging into the archives, because I did a quick look and didn't find anything. But yeah, I just feel like people messed that up. Now, yeah. I also think at our first year at Astronomicon Trivia, I messed that up because I think I accidentally said Rock the Dead when I meant We Don't Die, and someone called me out on it, but that was just a slip up. That's me being stupid and not knowing the difference between, I'm bad with song titles. So
both those songs have the same vibe to me, Not
thanks for covering for me.
They kind of, that's what I'm here for. I kind of get them confused, like just in my mind when I'm thinking of the two,
We just named off 4 songs on Riddlebox that we were talking about dead bodies. We didn't know which one was which. We didn't even name like 3 Ring and all the other ones that have the same gimmick. But yeah, I'm bad about that. Okay. Are we missing anything about the actual song before we start throwing it in the ranking and filing, seeing where it falls?
I don't think so. We touched on the everlasting moments and legacy of it.
Yeah, just the hotness of the live version, I think, is everlasting for sure.
Right. As I said, it's their chicken hunting.
It kind of is until the first singles from Freak Show. Right. You know, I'd say like We Don't Die, like maybe 1 or 2 songs off of that. Yeah, it's right up there with they have to do these live, I think. Mm-hmm. That being said, where do you put this on the CD? Which is tough because now we're expanding into the double CD, if you will. You know, right. The original and the reissue. But just in the world of Most Tasteless, where do you place it?
Upper half for sure. Top 5.
You have a lot in your top 5.
I think at this point I only have
5 in your top 5.
I have Die Motherfucker Die. I have Secondhand Smoke, Renditions of Reality. What the fuck, and Rock the Dead.
And we only have 4 more songs to go.
Well, you know, maybe I already got my 5 solidified.
All right, well,
it changes. You know, once we get into each episode, things could shift, just like the college football playoffs. You never know where things went in the end of it.
If you're listening to this when this episode drops, there's going to be a distinct change in the college football landscape in 24 hours.
Oh man, we're so close. It's so scary.
If you follow us on Instagram, maybe we should do a live video of Chris just panicking all week. We'll have a panic level leading up to it of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like the terror threats at the airport, I'm not fully red yet, but once the Thanksgiving turkey and stuffing's done, it's full-blown red panic mode. You're scared. It's
just DEFCON 3 right now. You haven't gotten to the total level of panic.
Once I'm sitting on the couch enjoying the leftover turkey and watching Survivor Series 89 or something, that's when I start getting scared.
What about I get scared if you're going to make me watch Survivor Series 2021?
Well, timestamp, watching it right now, and I don't know who half these guys are on this show.
Well, I thought they fired all the people who you didn't know. They actually kept people you don't know, too?
There's plenty who I did not recognize.
All right, well, I can't wait to not watch that.
It's funny, they're eating pizza in it.
So for myself, I think I agree this is probably top half. If I would have thought about it earlier, I would have put it very high. But reading the lyrics and listening to it a lot lately, I kind of see some holes in it. So it's not like very, very top, but I recognize how important it is. And, you know,
I think I went opposite.
World.
When I read the lyrics, I liked it more because I see 2 different, competing stories of, Monoxide's out there murdering everyone and Madrox just bringing them into the party once they're already dead.
I may have to give it another listen now, but there's definitely ones coming up here that have moved up and down my list just from our research. So yeah, this season definitely makes me think about my stance on all these. Live version, we said live is fire, right? Like A+.
Yeah.
Twiztid History, where are you putting this? Well, again, you said it's their chicken hunt, and it may only be like the top 3 or 5 on this album, but we can agree that it should probably be placed on their best of.
Yeah. Yeah, as we said, if you're making a CD for someone, this one's on there.
I mean, they literally put it out there to grab people to buy this CD. So if it's good enough for them that you assume they put their 110% into it, it should get that respect.
Right.
You know? I think that may be it. Unless you have anything else to talk about Rock the Dead about.
No, I think that's good. If you bought your Rock the Dead CD at Rock of Ages, find someone who has one and double check it, I guess.
so disrespectful that you would say that.
You're the one that pointed it out. I need to see. Maybe I had it in my collection. I need to see. Maybe I got a bootleg.
I don't know. Yeah, that was. I still say that was very hard to come by. So I mean, maybe people do out there, but we should also mention, I can't believe that I didn't mention this, their first solo tour was called the Rock the Dead Tour.
Yeah, good thing we caught that before you got called out.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it in the very first episode or two, but yeah, we might as well redo that because, again, talk about something that I want and cannot find is the backstage pass for that tour. It is.
Well, here's your chance. Send it out there in the Juggalo world if anyone has it.
I think 2 people I know have it, and neither one of them are coming off of it, so that ain't happening, but it's definitely a gaping hole in my collection, and I'm very upset.
Well, speaking of gaping holes, next week is Spin the Bottle.
I was just about to go on a tangent about my Juggalo collecting, but now I've been deflated, and now we're thinking about Spin the Bottle.
Sorry, I couldn't pass up that transition.
That's what we do. Next week, we have a very special episode. We're going to have a special guest. It's going to be an interesting look into the Juggalo world. I'll say it now. I thought that's more of what this season was going to be like, is what we're about to give you next week. But I guess pros and cons is probably why we didn't do it that way, and I'm glad. But I'm also happy that we're going to show you a little glimpse of something different than we've been doing for the rest of the season. So
yeah, I think it'd be too hard to get into the weeds on the details. So I think it fits for track like that, and like the smoke breaks fit when we bring in people to sprinkle a little extra vibes and, like I said, a little outside perspective, things like that. So
yeah,
I think we've worked them in well when we've worked them in.
I'd like to work it in more, but you're right. We had to find how it worked before we did it too often, and we plugged it in the right places. And now that I think we're getting a little better at it and we have a little more of a format, we can throw it in where needed. So we may have a couple of guests here in the last couple episodes, but definitely next week we have an interesting outside perspective on the Juggalo world. So stay tuned for that. And before we let you go, we'll remind everyone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those good places at Juggalo RWD. Don't forget to look us up on YouTube, find us on Spotify, go to the website, juggalorewind.com. You can also, where else can they find us? I've lost my place. Well, the phone number. The phone number is the real big one, 810-666-1570. Leave us a voicemail or listen to our little message. After last week's episode, we changed it up. So if you got to call and listen, you heard some details about the rest of the season that no one else knows.
Look at that.
Just gotta check it out. We're old school. Gotta check the hotline. So until then, unless Chris has anything else to say before he violently throws up thinking about Ohio State coming into Ann Arbor.
Oh.
He's going to cringe and cower in the corner. My name is Peter.
Mike Dudley could beat Bam Bam Bigelow. Michigan could beat Ohio State.
Did he actually beat Bam Bam Bigelow?
Oh, yeah, he pinned him.
Oh, I don't remember. I'm more of a remembering Mikey Whipwreck, going into winning all the matches as the underdog. Or as you will see in your Nitro rewatching, Norman Smiley holding onto the hardcore title.
Yeah. If I can see Michigan pull it out like Norman, I'll be a happy man.
You and Brando will be doing the big wiggle in the middle of the big house.
I'll big wiggle nonstop if it happens.
All right, well, we'll be videoing that and showing everyone.
Look on
Enough
TikTok.
of that. Yes, that'll go viral instantly. We'll get your brother to tape it for us. All right, that's it. We're out of time. Peter and Chris, Juggalo Rewind. See you next week when we spin the bottle and see who's next. We're going to see. Disgusting. All music played in this episode and in this entire season is owned by the respective publishers and copyright holders and is reproduced for review purposes only under fair use. Season 1 of the Juggalo Rewind, Most Tasteless, has been produced and distributed with full permission from Magic Ninja Entertainment. Thank you to George, Mike, Dustin, and Twiztid, and everyone at Magic Ninja for allowing us to do this podcast for you.